welcome to this new series from Mini-Modelog, which is Blood Bowl Hobby Projects. And the idea for this is to show you guys how to make teams from either the Games Workshop range or other ranges available that are out there. So with this one, it was about doing a Khorne Deamons team. And I'm kind of riffing on a team I'd seen before, which was Andy Spire's team from Black Wolf Painting Studios. If you want to check out his stuff, I'll pop a link down below. So it's kind of, I saw his, liked what he'd done, and kind of thought, right, I'm going to try and do that. So it's pushing my boundaries in the hobby because I'm not a big converter. I tend to just kind of use either representation, which we're going to talk about in a minute, or I kind of shy away from it and don't do it. But I thought I need to push my hobby. It's a way of sharing things with you guys in my hobby, and also show you how to make some teams out of different models, basically. So the first one I want to do is the Khorne Deamons team. The models I've picked are from the Age of Sigmar range, and we'll look at those in just a moment. And I just want to say a big thank you to Mark from Mirfield Miniatures who sourced me these models. Because obviously with Blood Bowl, with things like catchers and blitzers, you only need a limited number of them to fulfill the team. I mean, Khorne Deamons, for example, you only need 4 actual demons. So he's great at getting the models you need. So I gave him a list of models that I wanted, and he came up trumps. So if you ever need single models or you're thinking of doing something similar, take a look at Mirfield Miniatures, send Mark a message, tell him what you need. He'll hopefully be able to either have it in stock, or he'll be able to say to you, right, give me I'll let you know as soon as I've got them. So great way of getting small runs of miniatures. So we'll take a look at the models for that, as well as looking at some representation, which is something which is the easy way to do it. So for Golly Lockinger, for my Nurgle team, I picked up the bell swinging Blight King, and I'm going to just make him as normal. But with the Demons team, it's going to take a little bit more because there's weapons to remove and stuff, which we're going to look in part 2. But in this episode, we're just going to look at the models that I picked. Let me know in the comments what you think about the models I picked. Do you think I picked the wrong ones? Do you think I picked the right ones? Do you think they'll be easy to convert, difficult to convert? Let me know in the comments down below. But let's take a look at the models themselves. So with the Demons of Khorne team, you've got several positionals in the team. You've got the Bloodthirster, which is the big guy, which I haven't catered for at the moment, and I'm still working out what I'm going to do with that. But I thought I'd do the main team first. So the Pit Fighters, the Heralds of Khorne, and the Demons of Khorne. So you can only have so many of each one. It's 2 Heralds, 4 Demons, and then you can have up to 16 Pit Fighters. But of course, an average team is about 11 players. So I've gone for about 11 or 12 models here, and I may add more to them later. So for this, I went and looked at the Age of Sigmar Khorne stuff. And the obvious ones for the Demons of Khorne are the Bloodletter Demons. So I've got 4 of these guys. And obviously, if I can find the last one, there he is. 4 of these guys for my Khorne Deamons. They all pretty much look the same. Couple of different head angles. But they generally have the big sword and the claw on one side. So in order to make these look different, well, to work for Blood Bowl, I'm obviously going to remove the sword, and that should be all I need to do. But what I thought about doing was adding some of the balls from the Doomlord set in the hands of the demons, which I thought would make them look more Blood Bowl. So they're going to be my demons, and there's 4 of those. There's 4 of them. And of course, like I say, I'm going to add the balls. The Heralds, I went for these guys. Again, straight out the Khorne set for Age of Sigmar. I'm going to keep their kind of shields on them, because I think they're going to be too hard to remove. But obviously the axes are going to go, and the rest are going to stay as they are. But I've got 2 of them. I've actually got a spare one of these. So I may try to remove one of those and see what happens. If not, I might use one of the arms or hack into bits for some other parts, and I'll talk about that in a second. And then I've got these guys, and there's several of these, and these are going to be my Pit Fighters. So again, I think these work perfectly, and all I'm going to have to do is pretty much remove the weaponry. I'm not going to move the weaponry that's on their hips. I'll probably leave that on and make up some stories of, have you ever tried to get a Pit Fighter to relinquish his weapons? So a lot of them though don't have that problem. Like these 2 are perfect. They don't really need much apart from the weapons taken off. But then I've got one guy in particular who's going to be a little bit difficult. And the reason for that is this axe goes across that arm. So I may remove the arm and replace it with the arm of the herald that I've got spare. I'm definitely going to leave him carrying the 2 heads though. I think that's really quite a cool thing to leave on. But again, he has a sword at his hip, and I will leave that because I don't want to remove it, and I don't have the skills to cut that off and remodel, unfortunately. Some people say, well, you should try. I don't particularly want to waste a model that I quite like by wrecking it and trying to make it work. And the only thing I might try and do is remove, again, the top of this arm and replace it with the top arm of this guy instead. But I'm not quite sure yet. So those are the models I'm going to use. Let me know in the comments down below what you think about that and whether I picked the right ones or whether I should have gone for something else. Also, give me your opinion on the blood letter. Which blood letter should I use for the team? Should I use one that I've got, and I'll show you that in the next video when I start hacking these guys to bits, or should I use a different model elsewhere in the universe? So for the Golly Lockinger one, I basically used one of the Blight Kings, and it's the guy with the bell on. Luckily I was lucky enough to get this guy on sprue, which is awesome, but it's basically because for Golly you need a bell motif. Now with this guy I'm literally just going to put him together. I'm not going to do many changes, I'm not going to do many alterations because it just works. You could argue that this piece of wood that's carrying the bell should be a tentacle for that player, but I don't care, it's representation, there's not an official model for it. As long as tournaments are happy with me using this model, that's awesome. If they're not, well, I'll just have to go without him. But as I've done with other ones, I've done other conversions and used other models in the past for tournaments, so most of them should be okay with it. So in the next video, I'm going to do some changes to these models. I'm going to show you what things I'm going to change. Obviously, I'll show you what I'm going to do on this and tell you what I'm going to do on some of the other ones and actually do it on screen. So look out for that coming soon. But these are going to be my project videos where I just show you some ideas for making models and teams from other areas of the universe. Let me know what you think in the comments down below, and I'll see you next time.